Hello, and thank you for joining me for another Chatty Tuesday. We talk all things samba and give you a few little tips and tricks for your training, for your practice. And you can feel free to ask any questions in the comments section or DM me, whatever you feel like. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the importance of watching yourself dance. And the importance of filming yourself dancing, obviously, because that's the only way we really get to see ourselves dancing is by watching a video. And I think most of us have learned the hard way, me especially. Anytime I'm wanting to improve my technique or improve anything that I'm doing, the only tool I have most of the time is my camera. Obviously, we do have the opportunity to film ourselves and send that to a mentor or a teacher, or we have a lesson with somebody, but that's not always possible. It's not always an option. So the best thing we can do is film ourselves dancing and review the footage. This one always gets a lot of cringes every time I mention it. There's a lot of cringing involved. And I know that is because everybody hates watching themselves dance. And I'm here to suggest that that does not need to be the case. What if filming and watching yourself dance was actually became one of your favorite things to do? Just think about that for a minute. Wouldn't it be a nice thing to enjoy watching yourself dance on a camera, on footage? And how can we change that? And how did we get there in the first place? What I think is a really, really important to remember to begin with is not to be so hard on yourself when it comes to learning a new skill as an adult. That's my first tip. Try not to be so hard on yourself when you're learning a new skill as an adult, especially samba. It's really, really, really hard. All you have is yourself to rely on, and it's a very stylized sort of dance, and it's hard to get right. It's really, really hard. The basic step is really tricky. So first things first, be a little bit kinder to yourself and have a little less negativity around what you're doing, because hating ourselves doesn't get us as far as being kind to ourselves, kind and loving to ourselves will. And that's your first tip. Second tip is get your camera out and film yourself dancing. Everything you do. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're going to have a little rest in between everything you do. So for example, if you're doing a drill or you're training some endurance or you're training speed, you're going to want to have a rest and a breather. And that time is the perfect time to sit and review what you've just filmed. So for myself, I will have an intention. I will go into my practice and I will say, I'm going to do this drill for this long, film myself doing it, and then as I sit down and have a breather, I'll review the footage. And I like to speak to myself as I would speak to one of my students. If you've never taught anyone before, then you can sort of just imagine how your samba teacher would speak to you. So I would go and look at my footage and I would say, oh, this looks really nice. Look, my arms look really long here. My hips are moving really well. And I would like to improve on whatever. Or I like to improve on making my samba look bigger while I'm dancing. Maybe a more specific goal is best. And then have a think about how you could achieve that. So the language there is very, very different from, ugh, yuck, I hate watching myself dance. Ugh, ugh, you know, oh, I look so bad doing this. Oh, I look so bad doing that. That's not going to get you anywhere fast. So film what you're doing, review it straight away. Pick out what you do like, pick out what you would like to improve on, and then try and implement that immediately into your practice so that you're not forgetting those things that you want to improve on, or you're not waiting until your next practice to do that work. It's much easier to just get it done when you see it. Film, review, and repeat with your revisions. Film, review, repeat with the revisions. Sometimes you're probably not going to get it perfect on any given run through, but it's important to try. Of course, try to improve on each run through. Might happen sometimes, it might not happen other times, and that's okay. Every time you practice, you are adding to your skill set. So even if you're doing a practice that doesn't feel good and it feels like you're pushing shit uphill, I promise you it is helping you push through it. And maybe you might decide that that is a shorter practice that day, and you go back the next day and do a little bit longer when you feel better, especially when you start to plateau. Plateauing is super common, is super normal, especially in that sort of intermediate level. And then when you get to an advanced level, it's easy to plateau, and you will plateau. You just need to keep pushing and reviewing your footage. So dance, review, or film, review, and then repeat with your revisions. It's a really great way of improving. And if you're not really sure on how to improve, there are resources for you. For me, I teach online private lessons, but I also offer my master membership online. So what the master membership is a platform that I have lots and lots and lots of samba drills specifically for improving your samba. So you go on there and you say, I really want to work on my hips for speed. So you go to that section where you can find all the drills for hips on speed. And then you practice along with the videos. So that's the best part of it, is that I'm there with you, doing the movements with you, and you can copy me while you're practicing, so that you don't even have to think about what you're doing. And you film yourself, you film it all, and then you send it to me, and I can give you some positive feedback and also some improvements for next time. I've also added into the membership a monthly private lesson. So once you become a member, you have the opportunity to have a private lesson with me once per month via Zoom, and we work through anything you want, basically. But it's a great way to sort of show me what you've been working on, and then I give you real-time feedback. So that is there for you in case you're looking for a bit of a push with your samba. It's one of those things, like I spoke about a couple of weeks ago. It's all about consistency. Consistency is key. And I know that we hear this all the time. It's always the same story. Consistency is key, but everybody says it for a reason. It's there for a reason. The way that you improve is through consistency. The way you improve is by practicing more often than not. So practicing once every now and then is not really going to get you where you want to go. That's why I created this platform and this system and this online coaching, so that people can be reminded to practice, but also have somewhere to go and something to do when they get there. I also have lots of lessons as well where you can learn, but I didn't want it to be solely about the learning. I wanted it to be a place for people to practice and really refine their skills. Anyway, back to the filming. So that is one of my number one tips for improving your samba basic, your freestyling, any choreography that you're doing, literally anything you're doing. That is the only time that you get to see yourself dancing, is when it is on being filmed. So I would highly suggest getting used to that and becoming comfortable with that and enjoying watching yourself dance. And if you don't enjoy watching yourself dance, why? Is there another sort of underlying issue there that maybe needs to be worked through? Or is it just because you're not used to it? Maybe you just need to do it a little bit more and look at it with a more positive mind frame of, hey, look, I'm actually doing this really, really well. I'm actually moving my hips really nicely. So it's not all negative. I hope that this tip has been helpful to you, and I hope that, you've taken something away from this little chat. I will be here often, so follow me and keep an eye out for these little chats, these little tips about samba. And if you want any more information about what I do, or about my master membership, about private lessons, and send me a DM or head over to my website, which is in the link in my bio. And I will chat to you soon. Take care. Bye.